everyone, welcome back to Angela's craft room. Today I've got another Christmas card for you using Lovely as a Tree stamp set, and it's a bit of a different layout of the card today. I did start off by doing using the lots of labels, and I made a mask in the middle there, and I just didn't like how it looked, so then I made like a frame using the lots of labels and adhered it to there, and I'm quite happy how it turned out. And then just inside, just stamping the tree inside just to finish off the card. So I'd like to share that with you today, how I did that. So just pop the card over there. Now I'm just using a piece of Whisper White, the thick Whisper White cardstock, and it's 11 inches long by 4 1/8 of an inch wide and scored at 5 1/2, and that's just my base card. Then I've just used a piece of Whisper White, excuse me, a piece of Whisper White for inside my card, and as you can see I've already stamped the Lovely as a Tree on there to save a bit of time, and that measures 5 1/4 by 3 7/8. And I will just glue that in now. So just gonna, and I'm just going to straighten that up a little bit. I always like to put something inside my cards as I'm making them, and then they're all ready to go when I need to use them. So I just give that a bit of a rub. So then we've done the inside already. So we'll just set that aside. Then what I did with the lots of labels, framelits, is to get this, I just put 2 different size lots of labels together and run it through my Big Shot, and then that is how you will get a frame. Okay, so then I have done one. This is the piece that's going to go on the front of the card, but then I needed one to use as a sort of like a mask, and then I've just popped that onto my piece of cardstock that I'm putting on the front of my card, which measures 5 3/8 of an inch by 4 inches, and that's this piece here, and that's going to go on the front there. So that's 5 3/8 by 4 inches, and then you just, this here is just Eclipse masking tape, and I've just masked it off so that all I can see now is my mask, and I'm going to start sponging. So I'm going to use Bermuda Bay this time, just for something different. So we're just going to sponge that whole piece in Bermuda Bay, and I don't want it to be, you know, super dark. But I want it to sort of be around the same tone of colour. So you can see that's quite a quick technique using the sponge brayer. And you could use, a circle, like the a circle framelit to create how I've created this with the lots of labels. You could use a circle, you could use a square, you could use an oval, you could use a heart. There's just so many shapes that you could use, but I just thought just for something different I would use the lots of labels. And I didn't like it at the beginning, but by the time I'd finished creating the card with a few alterations, I was quite happy with it. So I'm just going to go up that way, just getting rid of the ink that's on there. So I think stamping the black trees on the Bermuda Bay is going to be quite nice. So I'm just because I'm on the last bit of that glue, and I should have grabbed one before I started the video, but I didn't. So now I'm just going to take all that mask off. So this mask that I made, the black with the O, you could keep, I will keep that, and you can just keep using that, you know. And if you were doing a lot of cards, you could quite easily do that. You could quite easily do quite a few at a time if you wanted to do all your sponging first and just keep reusing your eclipse masking tape. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the I think I'll use the Stamparatus. I didn't use it when I did the other card, but I think I will use it just in case I need to re-stamp it. And now I'm going to pop that up there. And then just using my Eclipse masking tape and my 1.5 inch circle punch, I'm just going to punch out a circle for the moon. And you mightn't like this, but I'm just going to pop it there. Just push it down there. Because if I don't do that now, I'm going to forget to do it. So what I'm going to use now is I'm going to grab my tree and I will put my magnet towards the top. And you know, 2 cards never turn out the same. And I do have that moon down a bit further this time. Might just have to move that up there a little bit. And I'm going to stamp that one right there, and I'll put my stamp case underneath. And I'm using the VersaFine Onyx Black, which you know I love to use because it's such a vibrant black. And I might even get away with just stamping it down once rather than just so this is the first tree. We're just going to put it about there. So I quite like that. And then we're going to I'm going to pop one about there, so it's just a little bit lower than the first tree here. So it's just a little bit lower because we want to have that illusion that we've got a forest full of trees. Now if you like like you like to stamp off and then stamp, you might like to leave that there, but I'm going to sponge a little bit of sky and grass over it at the end, so I'm going to stamp that back up again. Give that a good press down. See, I just think the Onyx Black really gives you that more vibrant colour tone that I'm always after. And then I'm going to go, I'm most probably not going to do as many trees this time, and then I'm going to go bring this one down just a tad little bit lower. Let's press that down. Stamp that up and just bring that across, and I'm just not going to press too hard, so it just gives me a bit of a lighter one. And then I'm just got to do one more on the side here, which I'm just going to go, it's going to be quite low, so you can see how by doing different heights that you're going to get that forest of the trees look. And I'm going to leave that one, I think. I don't think I will re-stamp that one. So I'm going to take that off now. Just pop my ink. And I just like to wipe that over straight away. Just helps cleaning later on a lot quicker. Just using my chamois to get a little bit of the ink off my fingers so it doesn't transfer to that lovely Bermuda Bay that we've sponged. So that's the stamp set we're using, and we're using this big one, Lovely as a Tree it's called. Okay. So then I'm just going to get some soft sky and I'm just going to lightly sponge and I didn't re-ink this stamp pad on purpose because I just really didn't want a lot of it to be very inky. And it's just putting a little bit of ink onto that Whisper White just to take the starkness of the white away. And when I first did this, I really didn't like it because how I did my mask in the middle here, I just felt it was like sitting out there. And that's why I created a frame to go around it. And then we've just got to stamp our sentiment. It's just a bit of a different layout of a Christmas card. On my original one I did put celebrate. You could use a really Christmassy. I don't have that many Christmas stamps because I just find I rather purchase stamps that I can use all year round. And every year for my Christmas cards I just bring out my Lovely as a Tree stamp set, and I just do different cards using that one. And there's so much you can do with the Lovely as a Tree. So I think I'll just grab the Pear Pizzazz now, and we're just going to sponge just a little bit on the bottom. And these Pear Pizzazz and Soft Sky are quite soft colours. They both come from the Subtles collection with Stamping Up, so they're not going to be like really bright colours like in the Regal selection. And the Bermuda Bay, it comes from the Brights. So just a bit of a different colour scheme. I know there's a lot of Christmas stamps out there with trees, so you know you could adapt this layout to literally any of them. So I'll just grab a little bit more of Soft Sky. And where my Bermuda Bay mask is that we've already sponged, I'm not really going right across it. I'm just doing the edges because it doesn't really matter, because the Bermuda base is that bright that it doesn't really need me to put my Soft Sky all the way over. So what we'll do next is put the sentiment on, and then I can see where I need to put my frame. But I quite like those colours, so that's, we've used Soft Sky and Pear Pizzazz, but you can just use whatever colours you have or what you prefer. So I'm just going to peel off my moon, and I always love that when I peel off my moon, it just looks so lovely. So then I need to grab my Stamparatus because I need to have a nice bright sentiment, and I'm going to be stamping it right into the moon area there. Now I'm just going to grab a sentiment. Just have to grab the right one. go. So I'm just going to put, I'm going to do it a bit different this time. So I'm just going to stamp that Merry Christmas. I know I used a bigger sentiment for the first one. So I'll grab that VersaFine ink again. So that looks really nice there. So this is a retired set, but you can just use any sentiment. I just don't think I'll ever get rid of this Petite Pears stamp set because it has so many sentiments. It has about 18 different sentiments, and I can always use it all year round. So let's wipe that off. A lot of the stamp sets seem to come out and they don't have a sentiment to correspond with it. So then what I'm going to use is I'm going to use so, and the one thing with this is it's not going to exactly fit there. You most probably didn't notice with the first one, but I think what I'll do, so I don't have to cut it this time, like I had to cut this one so it had a gap there because it has such a big sentiment. And if you look closely, you can see that it didn't fit perfectly, but that didn't really worry me. So what I did also when I put this through the Big Shot, I've shown you before with the adhesive sheets from Stampin' Up, I put a piece of adhesive sheet under it as well, so that now I'm ready to peel it, adhere it to my card. I've only got to peel that adhesive part off and it's got all the glue already on there. So I just need to pop that top bit there. And then just run your finger around, and it's so much easier than trying to put the glue under this frame. But I really like this. Every time I do one of these layouts, I do really like how it turns out. Okay, so then all we have to do then is just adhere that to the front of our card, which I will do straight away, hoping that I've got enough glue left, which I should have. But I really enjoy doing these videos and I hope you get something out of them. Just going to grab a cotton bud, just a little bit of glue right on the edge there. I just didn't want that to squeege out, so just checking I've got the card up the right way, and we're just going to put that straight down. And I think it's nice to do different cards for Christmas because, you know, a lot of people buy their cards to give at Christmas time, and or they don't give Christmas cards at all, which is really sad. But I think, like, if you can try and make 1 or 2 Christmas cards a week, it's not as painful if you've got 20 or 30 Christmas cards to make. It's not as painful if you do 1 or 2 at a time during the year, which is what I do. So there we go. That's our card for today. So I hope you'll give that a try. And just remember, you don't have to have the lots of label framelits. You can use whatever you've got, whether it be ovals or squares or circles. Just have fun with it and just see what you can create. So this one I did with Smoky Slate, and this one I did with Bermuda Bay, and on both of them I've used Soft Sky and Pear Pizzazz. And then I've stamped the trees. Both of the trees I've stamped in that VersaFine Onyx Black. So that's the Christmas card for today. And so until next time, happy crafting.